radio home of the 6-time world champion Chicago Bulls. AM-1000, WMVP Chicago. It's now time for the Repeat the Three-Peat Championship Report, brought to you by Argo Federal Savings Bank, the official Chicago Bulls ATM card. And now, here's Lou Canellis.
The curtain dropped on the greatest show on earth last night, and the game's greatest performer closed out with maybe his greatest performance ever. At least that's what his director, Phil Jackson, said afterwards. Scottie Pippen could hardly move on the court because of a sore back. He played only 7 minutes in the first half. Then in the second half, he showed the heart of a champion, going 19 minutes in tremendous pain, but his mere presence on the floor made this a better Bulls team. He helped keep the club close till the final few seconds when Michael was Michael. First, he blew by Utah's defense to lay one in and close the gap to 1. Then he stripped the ball away from Karl Malone, brought the ball up court, faked out his defender, pulled up, and buried the jumper to repeat the three-peat. Phil Jackson comes your way here on AM-1000 tonight at 6. For Repeat the Three-Peat, I'm Lou Canellis on AM-1000.
As part of our ongoing salute to the world champs and Michael Jordan, we now present a quick listen to the highlights from last night's championship victory over the Jazz, and a quick reminder that tonight at 6 p.m., Neil Funk talks exclusively to Phil Jackson on the radio home of the 6-time world champion Chicago Bulls, Chicago's AM-1000.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to Bulls basketball. The NBA playoffs roll into the 6th game of this final series. The series at 3-2. Bulls with a 1-game advantage, but game 6 and 7 will be here in Salt Lake, and you can hear the crowd already has been whipped into a frenzy as their Jazz stayed alive with a win. A close win, but a win in the United Center in Game 5. The Bulls know what's ahead of them. They know that they have their work cut out for them. They've got to win one of these two if they want to win the NBA title. Pavetta puts it in the air, and a tap won by Luke Longley, who gets it back to Ron Harper and handed to Michael. MJ brings it. Comes to the right side, to the corner against Brian Russell. Pippen goes right to the post, and they flip it to him. Pippen back out to Harper. Back in to Pippen. He goes up and dunks the ball. Pretty good ball movement on the first possession.
Yeah, and Scottie gets an easy score to begin the basketball game, although he comes up limp, and it looks like he's hurting a little bit, grabbing his back.
He had said his back has been bothering him ever since Game 3. Here's Malone against Longley. Threw it away right to Michael. Longley that time cut him off the baseline. MJ comes the other way. And you're right, Pippen is laboring as he runs the other way. Michael against Hornacek. For Harper, now Kukoc. Flipped in to Longley. Luke looking, back out to Harper. Harper to Michael off a screen. His jumper is short, and the rebound Russell. And Pip is really bothered as he comes the other way running. And Stockton penetration and then circles back out and dumps it down to Malone. Malone, fall away jumper over Longley, and nothing but net. Jazz by 2, so there's been an 11-point swing in this quarter. Bulls had a 9-point lead.
And as you mentioned, Neil, it's happened ever since Scottie Pippen went out of the game.
And Burrell to inbound. Got it to Michael. 7, 6, 5. Michael starts to go to the lane. Double team. Falls, fires anyway, missed it. 25-22, Jazz by 3. We've played a quarter. Antoine Carr bounced into Karl Malone, a whistle, and he traveled.
Yes, he did. He shuffled his feet. Again, Luke Longley using his body to stay in front of Karl Malone.
The coach checks in, he gets Bushwick.
And one big difference with Pippen out of the game is now that moves Michael basically back into the backcourt. So in the 2-guard front the Bulls use, he ends up being the one to initiate offense. He's usually the guy early in the offense down in the post area.
Michael off the screen, set by Longley. To the lane, hangs, 15-footer, nope. Rebound, Fluckford, Dennis knocked to the deck, and the rebound to Utah. Stockton running. Stockton to Carr, pull-up jumper is good. Antoine Carr extends the Jazz lead to 4. Bulls just trying to find a way to hang in there. Rodman out on the perimeter and looks to Tony. Kukoc Drop down to Michael. He backs on Anderson. Ducks by him in the layup. Good.
Great move by Michael, and he went to the middle of the lane there with his quick attack.
Stockton. Left side. Russell to the corner against Kukoc. Bounce down to Malone. Malone backing on Rodman. Turns into the lane. Goes up short. Rebound Malone. Back up and good.
Well, they never came. They wanted to come double, but they never came and sealed Malone, so they still allowed him to turn to the middle. He was able to follow up his own miss.
6 9/10 left, but I don't think any question about what they're going to do here is they'll try to get the ball to Malone and do it, and then bounce to Russell. He goes inside and scores.
The second time in this series that Tony has fallen asleep on that side out of bounds. He doesn't guard his man who's taking the ball out of bounds. He gives him a layup.
There's Michael firing at the horn. It's caromed away. Trailing by 4 at the half. And they played all but 7 minutes of the first half without Scottie Pippen. Michael carrying the offense, he and Tony, with 33 of the Bulls' 45 points. But now, as we've talked all year about other guys stepping up, now is the time when guys got to step up and have the games of their lives. And it looks like Pip may try to start here in the second half.
Well, you give him a lot of credit because
tell me about it.
It's tough when you're having a tough time walking, let alone getting on the floor, and what basketball requires to stopping, starting the movement of the game.
And it may feel fine right now, John, but as you pointed out, the first time he's got a break card, it could go right out again. Stockton comes the other way. Stockton against Harper. Looking for Malone and jump to him. He faces up on Longley, drives him by the baseline and scores.
Well, Luke again is trying to close that distance so he won't shoot the jump shot, but he doesn't have the foot speed then to cut him off at the baseline, and Karl Malone went right around him.
6-point Jazz lead, 51-45. Kukoc. For Jordan, right corner, drop to Pippen. Pippen back out to Tony. Comes up shooting, in and out, no good, and the rebound hauled down by Hornacek. Hornacek on the run. You can see Pip at the other end really couldn't battle for the rebound. Stockton comes to the right side. Matched up with Harper again. Slices to the lane. Kicks it out. Russell a pump fake. He dives into Kukoc. Goes to Stockton. That's short. He's blocked by Pippen and a 24-second violation. Scotty with a big defensive play. And now beginning to labor as he runs again. Kukoc and Pippen bumped off stride as he burst outside. Now swung back to Michael on the left wing alone with Russell. Michael puts it on the floor, lost the handle. 2 on the shot clock. Long range, short. Rebound Dennis. And he had it knocked free and then got it back, and then it's stolen away. Good hustle by Karl Malone. Malone and Rodman tangled up. And there is Dennis, a trip foul as he tripped Malone in the backcourt.
I'm surprised they didn't give him a technical because that was a blatant trip on the play. But the officials, for the most part, have let him play. I mean, down at the Bulls' end, a couple of times there have been some strips. Down here, that last possession, and it just tells me you've got to be real strong with the basketball when you get in your possession. But it wasn't a very good offensive sequence for the Bulls. They didn't get the shot they wanted. They forced Michael to take a very difficult one with the shot clock winding down.
Well, Pip will sit down, and even though, you know, it's amazing. The guy's playing with no legs practically, and yet he's the reason that they had a 9-point lead and the reason they're probably back in this. Here's Russell short with a free throw. Now let's see if somebody off the bench can give the Bulls something. 3:01 left. Kerr against Isley. Bounced ahead to Tony. Kukoc off the dribble. Kukoc down the lane, running in, and a foul call.
Going to call that out on the floor. I think the Bulls have to feel good about their position in this game, though. The fact that you have a chance here to tie with 2 free throws. You just don't want to let anything crazy happen to you here to end the third quarter.
Here's my fear. My fear is that Michael is going to be worn to a frazzle and you're going to have nothing left in the fourth quarter.
That's a legitimate fear, too, because he's had to work real hard.
Neil Funk, John Paxson, 81-79. Utah with the lead and the ball on a poor call and an offensive foul charged to Dennis Rodman, but You're right, John. He was crowded and had nowhere to land. Stockton against Harper. They screen across. Pippen chases Stockton. Back to Malone. Wide open wing jumper, and he got it.
They haven't run that play the entire game. They look like they're going to bring Malone to the post. Instead, he comes over and sets the screen. It allows Stockton to get to the middle of the floor. He creates the double team, and Malone was wide open for that step-back jumper.
Stockton circles. He unloads. He missed it. The rebound, Tony taken away. Russell runs along the baseline, threw it back in right to Pippen. Scotty on the run. Pippen, front court, back to Michael. 83-81. Jordan against Russell. Backs into the free throw line. Turns it to the baseline. His jumper is short, and the rebound, Stockton.
They never got anything again. They just gave the ball to Michael and said, here, take him one-on-one. And right now, Michael coming up a little short on those perimeter shots.
Minute 22 left. Michael, one more. In the air. And he ties the game at 83. 41 for Michael. Stockton across the timeline. Comes to the left side. Alone this time. Now Malone to the post. On the box. They bounce it to him. Carl backing on Dennis. Pippen comes with a double team. Skipped out. Stockton unloads and hit it. A huge three by Stockton.
He made the entry pass, made a cut all the way to the weak side of the floor. And really a terrific find from Karl Malone, seeing John Stockton all the way across the floor.
So the Jazz by 3 with 41 and 9/10 left. Kerr in the game, Rodman, Pippen, Jordan. Kukoc.
Bulls in these situations like to try to run some type of back screen to free up shooters. If you don't have a three-point shot, you go attack the basket as quick as you can.
Pippen looking. Dump to Michael near the timeline. MJ at Russell. Michael a drive, and the layup is good.
Boy, it looked like he got hit as well.
A driving layup by Michael. Draws the Bulls to within one, 86-85. And now you got a chance for a stop here. Stockton. Left side. Hornacek screens across. Malone to the post. Malone stripped by Michael. To the floor, stolen by MJ. Michael a steal. 16 seconds left. Bulls down one. Michael against Russell. 12 seconds. 11. 10. Jordan. Jordan a drive. Hangs. Fires. Scores! He scores! The Bulls lead 87-86 with 5 and 2/10 left. And now they're one stop away. Oh, my goodness.
He's unbelievable.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, he got Brian Russell back on his heels where he looked like he was going to drive and then crossed over and pulled up, stopped it on a dime and was able to pull up and knock that thing in. And you had the Bulls in a space situation. And you were looking along the weak side. Where are they going to leave some of the shooters? It looked like they were cheating a little bit, but Michael freed himself up for that shot. And what a huge, huge shot.
All right, now, that's done with now. It's a 1-point Bulls lead. You got 5 and 2/10 left. What do you do now? If you're Jerry Sloan, you got to figure that Stockton and Malone, some kind of a two-man game.
Absolutely.
You have to be attentive. Hornacek, you got to watch guys off the ball as well, although they're not going to have a lot of time to mess around. So,
and it'll be interesting to see how Phil comes and matches up. Will he put Michael on a guy like Stockton in this type of situation, because you know they're going to try to get him the ball, most likely coming for the beginning part of this possession. But remember, the Bulls have been terrific in defending these type of situations for a long time. And Phil, his defensive philosophy and the guys that he puts out on the floor, they generally come through. And they did it in one of the games here, in game 2 here. Remember, Ron Harper came up with a steal and they tried to inbound it to John Stockton near the end of the game. But I think if you're Utah, your first option is to get into Stockton's hands to try to let him create. That's why I think Phil may put Michael on Stockton. The other thing is then you expect him to go to Malone, but they got to do something quick. 5.2 isn't a lot of time if you can force them out on the floor to enter the basketball.
Well, the Bulls, 5 and 2/10 away, dare I say it, from winning the title. They have the lead, and now they must defend. And somehow, some way, in a game in which they played with Scottie Pippen, not just playing on one leg, really playing with no legs, and yet he really was a difference in this game. And when we get done with this, win or lose, we'll talk about it, but the Bulls just played better even with him hampered.
Hey, Scottie Pippen's presence on the floor is always a huge plus for the Bulls, and you give Pippen a lot of credit for coming out on the floor and trying to play.
Hornacek, Stockton, Carr, Malone, and Russell. Kukoc, Harper, Jordan, Rodman, and Pippen.
And what Tony on the ball doesn't want to do is allow this pass down the sideline. You want to force them out. If they throw it across the floor, that's fine. They'll be well away from the basket.
Russell looking, got it to Stockton. Stockton, screen and roll, lifts the shot. It is no good. Rebound back, tapped, it's over. Bulls win the title. The Bulls are the world champs again. Oh, my word, who would have thunk it? When Pippen went down in the first quarter, you had to think the Bulls might not even have a chance in a Game 7. But that's not the case. The Bulls win it. The Bulls win it. They win for the 6th time. Oh, my. And Michael Jordan, what a performance. Pippen showed all the grit in the world as the Bulls win it. Oh, man. Packed.
Pippen with the ball. Scottie dribbles into the front court. It's over. The Bulls are the champs.
To the rebound. It's over. The Bulls win. The Bulls win. The Bulls win. 97-93 as they come from 17 down to win for the 2nd time in a row.
Three-time NBA World Champion Chicago Bulls. Congratulations. It's a great accomplishment.
They have done it.
Best team in the NBA.
Michael and Scottie. Stockton, screen and roll. Lifts the shot. It is no good. Rebound back, tapped, it's over. Bulls win the title. The Bulls are the world champs again. Oh, my word, who would have thunk it?
To the 6th-time world champion Chicago Bulls. The repeat of the three-peat is complete. Congratulations from Chicago's AM-1000. The Jordan Era is brought to you exclusively by Amoco. Amoco, maker of ultimate premium gasoline, congratulates the Chicago Bulls on another amazing performance. Amoco, you expect more from a leader, and you get it. As Chicago celebrates the Bulls' 6th championship, we celebrated with you with 12 hours of nothing but the world champion Chicago Bulls, commercial-free. So stay tuned to AM-1000 all day long for the Jordan Era, a look back at the career of the greatest basketball player ever and the ultimate success, reliving the night of the Bulls' 6th championship. And stay tuned at 6 o'clock for the head coach of the Bulls, Phil Jackson, exclusively on your home for the 6th-time world champion Chicago Bulls, Chicago's AM-1000.